I'm R.A. Schwartz, and welcome to the Winsidr Show, where it's all about the W. Fully in swing of the season, we got some surprises, some expectations being met, and some disappointments. I'm back with Madisyn. We got a good one, so let's cut to the basket. Before we get into today's show, just a quick reminder, Winsidr is a fully independent WNBA news site, and everything we do is supported by listeners like you. If you enjoy what we do here, you can keep it going by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Winsidr. That's patreon.com/Winsidr. With pricing levels for everyone, you're directly supporting the work we put into covering the W year round. We've also got a full team producing great written coverage over at winsidr.com. That's winsidr.com. Plus more content than ever across TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube. If you're in the market for WNBA gear, check the affiliate links in the show notes and on winsidr.com. You get to rep the league, and Winsidr gets a little support along the way. Welcome back to the Winsidr Show. I'm back with my guest, Madisyn Cunningham. Clearly, I haven't scared you away yet, so that's a good sign. How you doing? How you enjoying the season? We talked right after opening weekend. Now, we have 2 weeks into the season. We're recording on Thursday, hopefully running tomorrow. But I don't know, anything sticking out in your mind? I know we got some stuff to talk about. What's going on in your mind in the W world?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've really just been enjoying watching all the games. Obviously, been busy. But scheduling has been a bit odd. I mean, like the Valkyries haven't played in like 8 days, so I've been like some of the teams I'm just like forgetting that they're there. But yeah,
Right.
it's been good.
It's hard too, especially it's very easy for fans who follow a specific team to be like, oh yeah, we're adding X team, B team, C team. It's very different when you're media and you're covering it because you're trying to stay and have an understanding of each team and what each team is going through as the season goes on. And we're going to kind of dive into that into a few specific teams. But I hope listeners understand how much harder it is for media members and for people talking about this to follow. We're not just talking about an additional team. Now we have 3 more teams than has been
Mhm.
the recent history. And also something that let's just dive into this first. I didn't even prepare you on this, but I almost feel like, and I'm curious your take on this. What we saw last year with Golden State being the expansion team, setting a ridiculously high bar when it comes to the atmosphere, the success of the team, the
Mhm.
success of the city buying into it. We're obviously still seeing that again in these 2 new expansion teams. The Portland Fire, I mean, we're going to do this later, but can we just give a whole hell of a lot of love to that fan base because
Yeah.
the Fire Pit is insane. Like, when a play happens, the pop that goes on in that crowd is like you hear it coming through. And for me, that brings such a warmth to my heart
Mhm.
to see that with such a young fan base, with such a obviously you hope the league is doing its due diligence, picking a city that is going to be good for us to go to. But when you see that action, when you see that fandom go into it, it is insane. And I'm curious for you, it almost feels like to me Toronto, the Tempo are kind of getting the short end of the stick, not because they're not being successful as a roster, not because the city's not buying in, but because you have 2 new things. And not only do you have 2 new things, there's just so many more. Not only we have 2 new franchises,
Mhm.
then you have the Valkyries who are on, their second season. So it's like everyone has their eyes on them. So that spotlight of being the new kid on the block is
Mhm.
shared. And it feels a little bit like Toronto's getting a short end of the stick, just, whether it's fair, justified, or whatever. Toronto's having a really good start to the season.
Yeah.
Um, Impressive. Sorry, that was my crazy rant about the expansions. Do you feel like Toronto? Do you feel like how do you view this year with 2 expansion teams in terms of the hype, the attention versus last year when there was only 1?
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe, and I think also because now we know that there's gonna be 2 more teams coming next year, and then, like, Connecticut's going to Houston, there's just so much change that, yeah, it's hard to focus. Like, there's not just, like, one focal point of, like, "Oh my god, the league's growing." It's growing in so many ways that, yeah, I do feel like I think Toronto's getting the short end of the stick because more people expected them to be like to be decent, whereas I
Mhm.
think the Fire, people expect them to be really, like, not good at all. So I think just because I would say they're playing at a similar level right now, it's more
Mhm.
of a surprise for Portland, so I think they're just getting a lot more attention for sure. Um, yeah, but I think Toronto also has, a very dedicated fan base, it seems, and, like, when they were there that first day, yeah, it seemed like the crowd was going crazy as well, so hopefully they get their shine. I think people are just surprised right now about Portland.
And you brought up my second point perfectly, which was Connecticut. I mean, like, I just feel so bad for the Sun and their franchise and their fan base. I don't like, first of all, everybody who's listening to the pod knows I have some weird love for Mohegan Sun as an arena because I think there is something that kind of really encapsulated the state of the W in that period of time, which was
Mhm.
the players were so relatable. The players, you were so easy to connect to the players. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be, again, I've gone on this rant and stood on this, like, there should be more safety for the players. No one is denying that. No one is arguing that. What I'm saying is like, and maybe it's not healthy or safe to have a Mohegan Sun style setup as we become, a league with multiple millionaires on each roster,
Mhm.
multi-millionaire contracts on each roster. But there was just something so amazing about this league. You would leave the game, you would walk around to go get some pizza, Papagino's or whatever it's called, and you would run into Brittany Griner as the Phoenix Mercury were coming to town. You'd run into Maya Moore. You'd run into Mike T or Cheryl Reeve or Sandy
Mhm.
or who, like all those. If you're a W fan, like the biggest people in your world, and you just run into them in the hallways of the casino. And it was just such a real experience for fandom. And I will never forget and always remember that and be sad that it's going. But also, like, with two expansion teams, with how, excuse me, poorly this team has been last year and then this year, and honestly, it's just like once losing, that core that brought them to the success that they had over the years and made them who they were, like
Mhm.
it's just so depressing to see this team that was a perennial deep playoff run team to now be stripped of all of its players, not stripped of all its players, they left and in a complete rebuild and now in its last season and the sun is setting and it feels like more than Toronto, they are getting overlooked and nobody's talking about it because it's sad and people want to talk about happy things and it's easier
Mhm.
to talk about those happy things. The Connecticut Sun, yeah, sorry, I just went down like a whole depressed. Now I'm sad. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Connecticut Sun and on their sunset that season?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is sad. Like just a few years ago, they were up there. I mean, like yeah, like you said, they have historically been, one of those teams that you can count on a deep playoff run. It's just yeah, it's definitely sad to see. And I think yeah, the performance paired with it being kind of the sunset season is definitely really sad. Yeah, I'm hoping when I head back to New York, I can catch a game. I've never been to Mohegan Sun, so I'm hoping I can like catch a game before they leave. But yeah, it's pretty sad, and I feel bad for the fans. They're a very dedicated fan base. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they transition to Houston, like who they bring with them in terms of like staffing and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because whatever they saw the reports. As of now, we hear that Jen Rosati said, as of now, we hear that they'll be open to bringing anyone who wants to move to or like continue. Yeah, okay, sure. Like I'll believe
Right.
that when I see it. Say whatever you want. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying whatever. I'm just saying like let me see that because you go into a new place, you really want to step in, create your own mark. And but I do think like as troubled as this roster is and as troubled as this franchise is in this current state, there is a lot of upside. And then we can obviously get into their coach signing a contract with an overseas team. What that says for the future, I don't know. Whatever, let's move on. Some positive things. There has just been a crazy youth movement in this league of recent. And we can look to it because we've had, like I always say, the further we get away from Title IX, we've seen a investment that starts pre-birth for these athletes so that by the
Mhm.
time they are born and they are training, like we're hitting levels that we haven't seen in women's sports before because we haven't had the years of dedicated training and focus on honing the craft to get to that point yet.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that we haven't had that focus, but we haven't had the system around it and the support around it that we're slowly starting to see trickle in and be available, which is so beyond amazing. But we're seeing now, so it's partially because these rookies are ready to play. Like
Mhm.
they are ready to play. It's also because, sorry, this is going to bother some people, we have more teams. Talent is more spread out, which means
Mm.
there's more opportunity for you to step up. Are you going to take advantage of the opportunity that you get? And I got to say, the Washington Mystics, oh my God, this is a fun roster. This is an insanely young roster. Like,
Mhm.
let's be 100% clear. Shakira Austin is their vet. Like, they are all rookies, essentially. They don't have a vet. Shakira Austin's their vet. Yes, she's a vet. She's been in the league for this her 5th season, but keep in mind, season 1 she plays 36 games, season 2 19 games, season 4, sorry, season 3 I can't count. 12 games, then back to 38 games last year. The real question with Shakira is, can she stay healthy? The sky's the limit. I think she is
Mm.
a player with some of the most upside in this league. That's just like, if she can stay healthy, we're talking about an all-star. We're talking about
Mhm.
possibly someone who can get into the MVP conversation. The Mystics, I mean, just a fun team. Sonia, Kiki, Shakira, talking about a front court that is just insane. I have like a wild hot take that I'll get to later about the Mystics and how talented their front court is. Give me some of your thoughts on the Mystics and the start to the season. Now, obviously, look, they're sitting at 2-2, so it's not like they've had the craziest of the start to the season, but an impressive start for me, especially considering how young they are. Uh, what are your thoughts on the Mystics?
Yeah, it's crazy, and also that record doesn't, like, really tell the full story, right? Because one of those games was the overtime game against the Liberty, which is, like,
Hmm.
well, arguably the best team in the league, and, like, they on paper, they weren't supposed to be that close. They're just yeah, I mean, yeah, their front court is really insane. I mean, Kiki, Shakira, it's really dominance when they're both on the court, and what I really love about this team is that they're not only young, but they're deep. Like every single one of their players on the roster gets on the floor, like basically every game, and each of them contributes something new. Like I honestly, coming into the season, I wasn't expecting Rory Harmon to get that many minutes just because she's so small, but she like I like how much they give her they give young players the keys to really experiment, and when they mess up, they stay in the game. They don't it's not, like I think because everyone's so young, there's not this like pressure on the rookies to be perfect to stay in the game because everyone's kind of making these like young mistakes, but everyone's also learning from them. And just I mean, Sonia Citron is just I feel like she's really made that leap. I mean, that game against the Fever, like that was crazy. I think she's averaging like 20 points this season. I mean, with her, yeah, I mean, she's just a 3-level scorer. She's amazing. I mean, and I feel like Georgia also coming back for her first season, she's been a great kind of facilitator for the team. She's so fast. They're all so fast. I mean, yeah, it's really crazy what they've been able to do. Um, yeah.
It's ridiculous. No, it's truly impressive, and like you said, it's the depth. I mean, like Lauren Betts, Shakira Austin, Kiki Griffin, like that's their front court. That's an insane front court to have those three. You can switch them into many different positions.
Mhm.
My crazy hot take, which will really bother some people. Please don't clip this. Whatever. I like if I'm the Indiana Fever, I would rather have one of those three bigs to pair either with or instead of Aaliyah Boston in that Indiana roster. That's just my take. I just think they need a little bit more size, a little bit more stretch on it. And I
Mhm.
think with the Mystics, what we're seeing is like this is a team that you hit it on the head right there. Like they're giving opportunity to grow to all their players because they know it's not about this season. It's about let's grow these players as much as we can. And then in a season, maybe in 2 seasons, because at the end of every season, this roster is changing. Coming
Mhm.
into next year, a couple of these players are going to be shipped out, whether it's in free agency or whether it's moving them in a trade to package something else,
Or they
because this
get
is
dropped.
exactly. And so, like, it's going to be really interesting to see, kind of where this roster leads to because they have so much talent and so much opportunity, and everyone's taking advantage of that opportunity. And
Mhm.
so, then it's going to get down the road. And then the questions get really hard for front office management to say, okay, who are the players that we earmark as these are necessities for our roster moving forward? Who are the players that we are willing to depart with? And who are the players around the league that we're looking to bring in? Because, like, let me be real. This is like the only roster in the league that like it's not going to, but could stay the same, like literally the same 12 players for the next 5 years very easily and be a competitive good team for those 5 years. Obviously, people, you want to jump the line a little bit. You want to add this superstar, that superstar. But this is just an insane roster. It's pretty ridiculous. And yeah, to your point, they have 2 overtime games, right? They lose to the Mystics. Mystics lose to the Wings opening night pretty bad, 69-92. Sorry, it was not. That was their second game. First game, I'm way off. I'm going backwards on this. They beat the Tempo 68-65. Then they lose to the Liberty 98-93 in overtime. Then they win in overtime against the Fever, back-to-back overtime games by 2. And then they lose to the Wings the other night. But honestly, like that, similar to what you were talking about with Golden State, the Wings hadn't played in a while. They were just waiting for that opportunity. They had a bad loss, and then boom, they snapped back. So I would just say any WNBA fans, if you want a fun team to watch, you want something to pay attention to, the Washington Mystics are a must, in my opinion. All right, moving on, unless you have anything else you want to say about the Mystics.
No, yep, you said it all.
All right, cool. Chicago Sky. First of all, prayers up for Akia Jackson. Just hate to see that. Non-contact injury, ACL in the knee, really sucks. And I just have to get one dig in. Also really sucks that she's on the Sky when this happens because they don't have the elite facilities yet to take care of someone with an injury like that. So I hope she's not, I know this is a joke because I know they're not actually at the YMCA this year, but I hope she's not having to do her PT at the YMCA with Janice. Yeah, so great player, really starting to get her shine, shining brighter and brighter and brighter, and just having an insane season. But also this team. Let's talk about this Chicago Sky team. Obviously, coming from their defense, starting with defense and just playing through that defense into their offense, stifled the Lynx. So far, they played the Fire, they beat them. They played the Valkyries, they won. They lost to the Mercury. They lose bad to the Mercury. In my opinion, it was a very decisive win versus Minnesota. Even I don't think the score really showed that. And then last night, a tough loss to the Wings. What are your thoughts on the Sky? We talked about it a little bit last week. Really impressive start to the season for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me that I'm watching is Camila Cardoso. I mean, I feel like she's poised to have a really good season. I think last night she had 24 and like 11 or something. I mean, I think right now they're just so injured that I think we have to see how it goes, because right now they're literally running just like a 4 guard and Camilla lineup, which I don't think is sustainable at all, because like that's really not going to work. But I mean, I also think Gabriela Jaquez has exceeded at least exceeded my expectations. I won't lie, I was pretty confused by that pick. I didn't think number 5. I thought that was maybe a little short-sighted because of the UCLA winning the championship, but she's really been like finding her groove with this team. I think because their spacing, again, it's just a bunch of guards. Their spacing is so wide that she's really good at getting downhill and taking defenders off the dribble. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Right now, they just need to find a replacement for that Rakia level, that Rakia role, because I don't think it's sustainable to run with 4 guards in Camilla. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm first of all 100% with you on Gab, like that. Yeah, I enter the rookie of the year conversation. Why don't you? The way you're playing right now, like insane, just ridiculous. I would say my biggest concern, like Chicago, people in the comments were hating on me a couple weeks ago saying, oh, you just hate Chicago. No, like, look, you have fallen on your face for so many years in a row. I'm not going to give you any, grace, anything until you show it, until you prove it. And that's what they have done. They have shown it. They have proved it. shout out to Tyler. This team looks focused. This team does not look like the laughing stock Chicago Sky. And
Mhm.
I wanted to wait a few games into it. We're sitting at 3-2 right now. But again, I don't think that record necessarily shows, and I'm a devil's advocate. I could see both sides of the coin. I could be sitting here at 3-1 and saying that doesn't show the full story of this roster. And now I'm
Mhm.
sitting here at 3-2 and I'm saying that doesn't show the full story of this team. My biggest concern for this team, honestly, is we're talking about Skylar's been in and out with some injuries.
Mhm.
Stevens has been completely out. Sloot's completely out. Carrington's completely out. And now Rakia's done for the season. So now I'm sitting here and I'm going, what? Those are impact key players for this roster. And I don't want to lessen the success that they have had this season by bringing up the fact that, like, this is not what teams expected to take on when they face
Mhm.
them. But there's almost an element of that, like, okay, now they're going to get some film on you. And yes, there are some players who are stepping up in taking advantage of these opportunities. My biggest question for this roster is what happens when the stars come back?
Right.
Like, are you able to have that same camaraderie, that same, now I want to say camaraderie, that same team effort that is led by defense moving into the offense? Or are you just going to be in trouble because you have more talented players, but the system isn't working as smoothly?
Mhm.
And then you get into this part where it's a debate of which one should you be playing, the hot hand or the superstar that you're paying millions of dollars to?
Mhm.
And it gets super complicated. For you, I like, do you this is like a mean question, so I'm sorry
It's
for asking it. But like, do you think Chicago's running on fumes at this point? Like how many more, what I mean? Just because like the injuries are stacking up.
Yeah.
What do you think in that sense? Is this real? Is this like real what we've seen, but like how long can it last? Like where's your head in that regard?
Yeah, I think in the last episode, I was, like, convinced that it wasn't it wasn't real. I think it's real, but I don't know how it'll continue. I think, first of all, just, like, with the injury, and I agree, like, I think it'll be interesting to see how pieces fit back in, and I do think right now they are kind of running on the fumes of, like, I think they kinda knew that no one thought that they were for real gonna, be in that next level, and I think now I think they'll have a little bit more, like, of those fumes because now they're playing for Rakia, it's, like, very impassioned. Um, I just don't know if they can stack up against, like, the best of the best. And I think, again, that has to do just, like, with lineup construction, with, yeah, how this goes. I mean, they definitely will have the pieces to do so when their stars come back, but, yeah, it'll just be interesting to see. So I feel like so much of their success is, like, contingent on Camilla having these, like, dominant performances, and I think she's, like, not to the point where it's, like, 100% consistent yet. I think if she continues playing at this level, then I do think this can be a more sustained success, but I think it definitely depends, especially if she's gonna be their only big, not only because they have E Will, who I think is also battling some, like, injuries right
Yeah.
now or something. Yeah, they just need to stay healthy, and I think Camilla really needs to stay on this, like, this level, and I think they can be pretty good.
I'm with you on that because, like, when we're talking about this team, the question that I have is, I'm an offensive minded person. So, like, I go to the offense. Who's producing offense? Are we getting enough parts to put this puzzle together? And I look at, when you lose Rakia, okay, if Camilla is dropping games like she did last night, that's a different story. That's a
Mhm.
huge chunk of the pie. But I'm looking at Sloot Carrington and I'm not seeing, large chunks of the pie scoring wise. I see
Yeah.
facilitation. I see Carrington's good defense, and she will hit shots. She's not just going to be a 0 points per game player. I'm not saying that. But and is Skylar going to be able to take enough of that pie from Sloot or Carrington or Natasha Cloud? And then, okay, Stevens comes in and yes, gives you a little bit more help on the front court. But then is Banham going to be able to continue this? Like, are we going to see? And then if they can't take enough pieces of the pie to be scoring, 80s, upper 80s, 90s, 100, then
Mhm.
okay, is your defense good enough to make it enough? And so far, what I've seen is this defense is for real and it is good enough. Games they got coming up, they're playing in Chicago versus Minnesota, then the tempo, then Minnesota again, 3 games against Minnesota. in May, before May is done. So it'll be interesting to kind of see anytime you face off against a team, the first game, okay, you got that game. The second game, one team has a little bit of a little fire under their butt. The third game, if you're down 2-0, if you've lost both those games, like it is hard to sweep a
Right.
team. So we'll have to see what
Mm.
happens in that regard. We talked about Portland. We talked about the tempo. I got to ask for you, like, last night, the Sun got their first win in Seattle. We talked about the Sun a little bit, but what are your thoughts on the Storm and this start to the season? Expectations being met for you, concerns? Obviously, with Dom out, concussion protocol, that's a huge impact. And like for me, I'll be upfront. Like going into the season, I very much viewed this roster as like not a playoff team, but parachuted, or not parachuted, ballooned into a playoff team because of some of the talent that they have. Just
Mhm.
like when you start looking around and you're like, okay, well, it comes down to these three teams on the playoff bubble, and then I look at who's on this roster. I'm like, well, if I think, Awa is going to be growing throughout the season, if I feel that Ezzy gets healthy at some point, and I'm high on Ezzy, if you know what I mean, like when you just look at this talent, then you're like, how do they not win a few of these games? But then obviously, look, a lot is on the back of Lexi, of Flage, of Natisha. Kind of where's your mind at with the Seattle Storm roster? Like what? There's a lot of questions there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think my expectations were similar. Like I definitely didn't see them, going that far, but I thought that they could definitely like kind of be similar to last year's Mystics team in the sense of like they're young, they're not going to do much, but on any given night they can compete with like, those higher level teams. And I do think yeah, because Dom is out, like we're not seeing the full picture because in her last game, or I think her second to last game when she was in, she was looking really, really good. I mean, she's just amazing, obviously. And I think her and Flage work really well. But yeah, I think they're underperforming a little bit than I expected, but also at the end of the day, like they're not like a young team, but they feel young, if that makes sense. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
and I think like their best player is young. So
Yeah.
I think in general, they have like a young team identity. So I think, ups and downs are bound to happen. I am excited to see when they get Dom back. I know they're having like a press conference to welcome Awa to the team tomorrow. So hopefully she'll get on the court semi soon, and that'll be really exciting to see. I definitely still think they have potential, but there have been some tough losses. But I think also, I mean, some of those, I think they've had a few like rough matchups this season as well. Like I know they had to play the Fever, they had to play, not remember exactly, but yeah, I think also the start of their season wasn't wasn't conducive to like a winning a winning record.
Oh, totally. I mean, look, you start off. I'm totally going to do the games backwards. No, okay, I got them right this time. Valkyrie Storm on the 8th, opening night, 91-80. Honestly, I thought that game was going to be a lot closer, a better
Yeah.
game. Then they bounce back. They get the win over the Sun, 89-82. Then the Tempo take them 86-73. Then the Fever take them 89-78. Like, and let's run it over. It's the 8th, the 10th, the 13th, and the 17th. So not a lot of ease there, a lot of
Right.
travel. And then last night they go home and then lose by 2 points. Just rough. I mean, look, for me, I just think this is a flawed roster. Like, this is not a
Mhm.
roster constructed for championship
Yeah.
ascension greatness. This is a roster that has its limitations, but you also have very young players, and I think they're set up for opportunity. And just like the Mystics last year, just like the Mystics this year, just like a lot of teams in the league, when you have opportunity, take advantage of it. We're seeing
Mhm.
people take advantage of it in the like Bridget Carlton's taking advantage of it. Sarah Ashley Barker.
Mm.
There's a plethora of players who are taking advantage of their opportunities in bigger time. Obviously, I'm not talking Marina uh, or Sykes because like they've had opportunities. I'm talking about players who like have not had those opportunities and are taking advantage of it. It's super impressive. And we look at Flage is going to have a huge opportunity
Mm.
if she wants to be rookie of the year. Obviously, she wants to be, but
Right.
if she plays to be rookie of the year, she will have an opportunity to be rookie of the year. That's just the
Mhm.
fact of it. So it's really exciting. It's really cool. Just so people know, and because I love to do a little bit of a pick 'em, we won't do today or tomorrow. Let's do a Saturday, Sunday. We got 6 games, pick 'em. I'll tell you my slate, the matchups for each day, and the winner will go day by day. I'm putting your feet to the fire. You got to answer. There's no cop outs. There's no ties. There's no, earthquake. The arena gets shut down and the game doesn't happen. Okay. We got Lynx at Sky on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go with the Lynx. I just think hard to beat team back to back. Then we got Portland Fire versus the Toronto Tempo. Very excited for that game. Honestly, that's a tough one. I'm going to come back to that one. Sparks Aces, easy one. Aces. Oh my God. I got to go with the Fire on this, but I think it's going to be a really good game, and I could very easily see the Tempo winning by 10, even though I'm going with the Fire. It's not, you know what? It's not in Portland. I'm going Toronto. All right, so who do you got? Lynx, Chicago.
Lynx. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, the back-to-back of it all. I mean, not the back-to-back, but, the second matchup.
Yeah. I'll let you have the easy one first. Sparks Aces.
Aces.
It's funny because last year the Sparks were that team that would beat even if the Aces got good. I feel like they broke their win streak. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, Fire Tempo in Toronto.
Yeah, that's hard. I think I'm also gonna go with the Tempo. I think, like you said, I think whichever team has the home court advantage in that matchup will win it. I think if that was in Portland, I could see a really close game. I still think it'll be close, but I think I see Marina going crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm honestly with you. Honestly, I think the Fire might be the only team that I'm this season going to be looking at with a hard hometown not a hometown bias, but a home court advantage, because it's insane. Okay, then Sunday the 24th we go. So all right, we're lined up. We got to disagree on some things. Mercury versus Dream. That's a good one. Some questions on the health of some of the players in that one. I'll let you pick first.
I think I'm gonna go with the Dream, but I'm
Perfect.
not
I'm
sure
going
on
Mercury.
that. Okay.
I'm not sure. Here's the thing with the Mercury that's really annoying is I think they're going to have some skids in the road throughout the early half of the season until they fully get their defense lined up. But in the same regard, it's Alyssa Thomas, and you can't sleep on Alyssa Thomas. You can't pick against her. Well, you just did, so I'm going Mercury, and you're gonna lose. No, Wings Liberty. I think I'm going Wings on that. Obviously, a lot is dependent on Sabrina being back. Obviously, a lot is dependent on Satu if she back. But I think that game will be more of a toss up. Obviously, Liberty is the easy choice. What are you going with? You going Liberty?
I might take the easy choice.
I know. No, it's totally fine. My thing is, I like to pick. I try and hone in on a game where I'm like, oh, this is clearly the pick, but I'm not actually gambling on this, but I'm happy taking that little bit of a gamble on it.
No, I could see you going either way for sure. I think honestly it depends on how the rest of the Liberty's week goes. I feel like they kind of work they're streaky. I feel like if they win today against the Valkyries, then I'm even more confident that they'll beat the Wings. I feel like when they are down, there's some pretty low lows, but I feel like obviously when they're up, they're one of the best teams in the league. So
I love it. I'm with you on that. And then we got Mystics Storm. I'm going Mystics, even though Storm probably are railing and really wanting to get back, but I'm going Mystics in that one. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Mystics.
All right. Well, cool. It's because you got a good mind. To close out this episode, I just want to thank our listeners for supporting independent WNBA coverage. Winsidr has been doing this for a long time, and it only works because of our listeners and our community. So thank you very much. And make sure to check out Patreon for exclusive content and a way to support our whole staff. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week.